Good evening, everyone. It's Tom Sydney Bushnell, aka Numbers, here from Psych Club, from the Tom Numbers Show. News with Tom Numbers, and also top of your game. So I've got my old mucker. I've got Rachel Rightside Blonde back. I think it's been about a year, Rach, since you've been on the show.
Has it really?
I think so, because you've been kidnapped by George magazine, and you know, all
been
that
quite
stuff.
Busy.
I know you've been quite busy. Yeah, people say, "Where's Rachel?" It's like she's still here. Where is she? So people have asked that in the comments. So she said, "I've got her back here. She's here."
Yeah, when I go to events, people always ask, "Where's Tom? How's Tom? How's?" And I'm like, "He's doing great." Just because we don't do shows all the time doesn't mean we hate each other or anything. We're all good. We're just busy.
Exactly.
Been busy.
No, we've never fallen out. We're always good. But yeah, it's we did have a good daytime talk show for a little while last year. People did enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, when you're not making a magazine and like, you know, a children's magazine on top of that, it's a lot easier to have time for all shows. But here we are.
Well, here we are. We'll probably incorporate it a bit. We'll see how it goes, but it's good to have you back. Magazine is 76, Thomas, a magic wand.
So, I love it.
You know,
76. It's a good year. 1776.
Yeah. Well, 17Q add 76 comes to what does it come to?
I'm terrible with math. 90, 76, 17, 100.
Do it on a calculator.
76 plus 17. I'm thinking 14. Just tell me.
No, you know it. It's a special one. You know what it is.
7. I hate doing math in front of people. It's like my least favorite thing ever. I know there's people.
All right, I'm patient with it because I'm not.
It's 93. Okay. See, but really quick, there are people in the audience that when someone says do this math, your brain just goes completely blank. That's what mine does. So I promise I can do math, but just not in front of people.
So 93.
Yeah.
Which is you. And 93 is Bushnell. So
yeah. 93 is a good so it's a good, this is a good segue. Sorry, my dog's like shaking his ears, so if you can hear that, Walter's next to me just hanging out.
Walter, 93, he knows it's me on the show, that's why he's come in.
He's saying
he would never ever leave me alone. When I was there, he'd never leave me alone.
he's kind of like scratching his ears. I don't know what's going on. But when you were here, Tom, you were here over September 3rd. And that was when I went to Wilkes-Barre, which was on September 3rd, 9/3. And it was kind of crazy.
Is that when you went to see? So when you saw?
That's when I was sitting behind Trump, and it was in Wilkes-Barre. And that's when Edward X. Young was giving his interview, and I ended up sitting right next to him behind.
Yeah, September. Was it September 3?
Yes. And you know what's crazy? September 3rd was a very so 93. This we're talking about.
It's important. September 3rd is very important. Birthday, happy birthday, September 3rd.
September 3rd was a day that changed my life when I was 17 years old. So it was always a kind of a day that I didn't look forward to because I had a friend die in a car accident. It was that day. So every September 3rd, 93, I would not look forward to it.
Yeah.
So this kind of like helped take the place of that, you know, at least it like softened the blow of that anniversary.
Yeah.
So
I didn't realize it was then because I was elsewhere that weekend. Yeah, I didn't realize it was then. How have I forgotten that? But September 3rd, yeah, very important. Happy birthday. And your friend, Chris. And what I discovered something in that film, didn't I? Passengers. So you got Chris Pratt.
Yeah. So I need to see this movie. You have a list of probably 100 movies that I need to see.
It's not that big, actually. Well,
maybe 99, maybe not 100.
99, yeah, maybe. It's a good solid 10, maybe plus of proper go-to movies, probably.
Do you think Passengers would be in that top 10?
Well, that's probably a new. So you probably, like in football, you've got 11 on the field. So you've got your
Mhm.
11 or 10 plus, that's 11. And then you've got these others that kind of make the subs bench. But I would say I need to watch Passengers again. I saw it when it came out, and then I saw it again recently because it came on, and anything that comes on, I'm like, okay, and I pick up whether they want me to watch it, and I watched it.
Mhm.
But it's definitely got, well, in terms of the conversation we were having the other day about waking up, it's like
Yeah.
our
Okay.
audience are awake, so they're awake, and so we can
Yeah.
relate to the feeling of, come on, let's get to where we've got to go. And you were
Yep.
saying, well, you expressed what you were expressing. I think this is all right
Well,
for the
yeah,
show.
I feel like, what do we talk? Probably at least once every week, maybe once every 2 weeks. And we talk for extended periods of time, just catching each other up with stuff and sharing ideas and theories and things like that. And it seems like every single conversation we have, it's when is this going to end? Like, what is it going to look like? Who's good? Who's bad? All these kind of things. And then we always ask the question, why are we awake? Why can we see things that other people can't see? So Tom brought up the movie The Passengers. Passengers.
Passengers, yeah,
Passengers.
yeah.
And you sent me the trailer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it, and it was two characters, and they're on this ship in like outer space or something, and they are hibernating for 120 years, and they wake up 90 years too early. Or I can't remember the years. I think it was 90 years too early.
Yeah.
And he said there's a reason we woke up early. And I found that it was just like, ooh, that's interesting, because that's how people feel, the people who can kind of see the corruption versus the people who can't. And it appears after the election results that there's still several people who can't see it. But
Yeah.
to be awake to at least the corruption. Maybe we don't fully understand what we're waking up to yet, but we're at least aware of what was. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, Passengers. Because it's interesting, the numbers on it, because Passengers, yeah, so they do, yeah, it's they wake up 90 years too early, and then it's about a period of 2 years, because at the end of the film it says, oh, 88 years has passed, 88's Trump, so it's a comment to that. But so I was saying to you that you remind me of the actress in it, Jennifer Lawrence, just kind of your demeanor and just how and so I was like, okay, and I said this to you before, and then I was like, all right, I'm going to do the numbers on it. So Chris Pratt, so you got Chris you mentioned, and then Pratt, I think it's like a little town in Kansas or somewhere out there, and there's a Parley P. Pratt in Mormon theology and stuff. Anyway, so I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then, so Chris Pratt comes to 132. So Chris is 57, which is Tesla, which is human, which is England.
Just
Pratt is
George.
75. That's George as well. Magician as well. And then Pratt is 75, which is Magic Wand, which is Eternal, which is Funding, which is North. But you add them together, Chris Pratt is 132, which is JFK Jr. is alive. There's also Princess Diana. And it's Bridge Street, which is the bridge that goes from the River Thames. River Thames is 138, Donald Trump revaluation. It goes into Parliament Square. Westminster Parliament Square is 355, which is remember the 5th of November. So it's all gridded out with the numbers and on the board. And there's an aeroplane that's going overhead, which you usually don't have, but I can hear it. So, and it's 2:24 as we're reading this, which is 2024. So it's confirming what I'm saying. But yeah, so Chris Pratt, and I've not met him, but I saw him at a Graham Norton show about a year or two before 2020, and I was in the audience and he was there. But then Jennifer Lawrence. So this is interesting. So Jennifer is 81, which is Tower, which is which is dollars, which is Tiffany. It's Square, and then Lawrence is the same. So it's Jennifer Lawrence is 81, which is 162, which is I am Rachel Numbers. So I used to sometimes call you Rachel Numbers, 139. 139 is Twitter, 115, which is someone's name, or used to be their name, 115. And then X is 24. And Twitter's gone from 115 plus X takes you, well, add 24 takes you to 139, which is journalist, which is Christopher, which is a marker on next year, because 11/5 is November 5th, 24. That's 139. But yeah, so that's Rachel numbers. But if you do Jennifer Lawrence, that's 162. And that's also one of your numbers, 162. And I didn't know that until I told you. I was like, yeah, you're a bit like Jennifer Lawrence. But then look at this, look at the characters. So she plays a Laura Lane. Sorry, Aurora Lane, I should say, which sounds a little bit like Lois Lane. And Lois Lane was, of course, a journalist and the love interest of Superman. And Superman is 107. Which, get this, so Jim Preston is 107, which is Superman, which is quantum, which is military, currency, eternal life, Aquarius. Jim is 32 again. And then Jim Preston, the character played by Chris Pratt, comes to 139, which comes to Rachel numbers, which comes to Twitter, 115, 11/5 November 5th, plus 24X, which comes to 139, which is journalist. So there's all these overlaps, whether it's male or female, you know, characters or their real names, it doesn't matter. It's like they're all blended in. And then Aurora Lane, Aurora 74, which is gematria, which is what we're doing. English 74, London 74. And you've got the whole thing with Chris, that's 57, that's England. But then Lane again is 32, which is life, which is again, Laura, I keep saying Laura, Aurora Lane is 106, which is prophecy, it's red pilling. It's also Tom and Ivanka, and she's the one that triggered me and, you know, activated me for the numbers. But if you add them both together, if you do Aurora Lane, 106, Tom plus Ivanka, and then Jim Preston, Rachel numbers, or Christopher, or money exchange, or transition, however you want to do it, it comes to 245, and 245 comes to Thomas Sidney Bushnell. It comes to the pure love of Christ, it comes to currency revaluation, and it also comes to Kansas City, Missouri. And if you go to the Wizard of Oz is 176, Back to the Future, the Wizard of Oz. And Wizard's 81, which is Jennifer, which is Lawrence. Yeah, everything, I could say all roads lead to Rome, but they always seem to lead to the numbers wherever they are, you know. Numbers is 92, yellow is 92. You've got the yellow brick road with Back to the Future, with Kansas, Dorothy, you know, with Toto and all that. But Manhattan 92, reverse 92, that's where I met Ivanka. And that's the time when my cousin Paula died, and I got the numbers, but not as clearly as I did when 2020 hit. But it's kind of weird, and it's like when you were saying, why have we woken up? I wish we could go back sometimes. And it's like, that's what she says in the trailer. And I was like, you're a bit like Jennifer Lawrence. And then Jennifer Lawrence is 162. And I met Ivanka on the 162nd day of the year, which was June 11th. June 11th is 141, which is Tom Bushnell. If you do 162nd day, that's 192, which is Ivanka Marie Trump, 192. Governor's Island, which is right in front of Statue of Liberty, which is 198, which is President Trump. Simpsons have predicted that Ivanka will be president in 2028, and they've sometimes been bang on with their predictions. And you know, you had Jennifer Lawrence's character Aurora Lane, and then Jim Preston. They come to 245, and it's Thomas Sidney Bushnell, and it's like, well, Jim Preston is 139, which is Rachel numbers, which is journalist. And it's like, who created this matrix, right? Is my question. Who did it? Who did it?
It's very strange just how everything kind of coincides, because I was listening to one of your recent videos about the 5th of November.
Yes.
You've done quite a few actually prior to the 5th of November that you just kept getting those. And early on in this, whatever this is, I don't even know what the name is for it, but that was very important. 143 was a very important number for some reason. I was driving, and I know people, you know, you hear people say like, well, I always see 222 or whatever. And I get that all the time. People thinking that it's nothing, you know, and that's fine if they believe that. That's fine. It's not for me. So one day I was driving and I was going by mile marker 143. And before I saw that, there were two cars in front of me, like making it so I couldn't pass. And I was kind of getting annoyed. Like, come on, somebody, when someone's driving in the left lane, you got to speed up and get out of the way. But they were both 143s. So I was like, well, that's kind of ironic that, you know, they're both 143. And then right at that time, I look up and mile marker 143. I was like, whoa, okay, that's crazy. So, you know, I look up maybe in gematria what that would equal.
Yeah.
And I can't remember off the top of my head what the values were, but it was something like, you know, you're being guided. And also you hear people say like, oh, 143, which means I love you, 1 letter, 4 letters, 3 letters, 143. So that's like a common thing people say. People say, oh, 143. So I just felt like maybe God was just like saying, hey, I'm with you, whatever you're thinking. I'm sure I was pondering life's deepest meaning in that moment. So and then, you know, you get off on the exit, which I got off on that exit, and there was another 143 right there. So as I'm thinking, man, I wonder what that means. I wonder if that meant something. And then boom, there's another one. So it was ironic that you were talking about the 5th of November and how you keep seeing stuff that kind of alludes to that. 143 is, what is it, 5th of November or?
Yeah, 143 is November 5th. November is 94 and 5th is 49, which is also the word yes. So you could, that 143 can be November crash. It can also be third eye global, because third eye is 94. Ace of spades, yes, is 143. They're all, John is 143. Yes, John, 143. And it's, you told me one, I think it's blink of an eye, 143.
Yep.
Kryptonians, 143. The president
let me get
is
my
143.
I have a notebook. I've got my own little.
There you go. Get your black book out. Yeah.
That's created.
But for me, I mean, personally, but also globally, because of my mission to teach and help people understand numbers, Paul, my cousin, I talk about him a lot because he's part of my guide team that tell me this stuff. Paul Bushnell was 143. Ground zero is 143. And I got my first numbers literally a stone's throw from ground zero as I'm crossing the water going to Statue of Liberty, you know, and he just died a few days before.
This is crazy. We were just talking about 93. 93 spelled out as 143.
Oh yeah, so of course. Yeah.
143 is we love you. You are loved. I'm with you. God's got this. It's life-changing. I mean, by your side in a blink of it. There's so many like supportive messages that are 143s. And so that's why when I see that, it means something. So when I hear 143, my ears kind of perk up a little bit. Yeah, it does. It's all coinciding with the first numbers I got. And the very first one I got was 118, which was Paul's birthday. So it was January 18th. And today is actually the reverse of that. Or the English way of saying it is 11/8. It's 118 today. It's November 8th. And if you take it further, so if you do Paul Bushnell 143, like we love you, and add his birthday 118, which was the very first number I got, that comes to 261. 261 comes to Mission Impossible Mask. 261 comes to November 22nd for Kennedy. It comes to August 31st for Diana. It comes to the Project Looking Glass 261. It comes to John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. 261. It comes to the United States of America 261. It comes to my show, which we're doing today, News with Tom Numbers. So this is kind of historical and up-to-date version of the show today. 261. Did I say the Project Looking Glass? I think I might have done. It also comes to August 29th, which is the one they use as a marker in Terminator 2. They say on August 29th, 1997. August 29th is also 261, but then they bring it into modern day
and they say 1997, and Diana went into protection, died past all those events on August 31st, 1997.
Mhm.
And 1997 is 238, which comes to the reset, revaluation. It comes to Donald Trump, the reset. It comes to the Tom Number Show, 238. So there's all these codes, there's all these markers, and yeah, the more I peer into it, the more it just becomes. And I'm blessed. I know I'm blessed. I'm given a gift, and I'm never at a loss for seeing what's coming, you know. And then the newspapers confirm stuff. So that's the other thing. The newspapers get it, you know. It's like I had a picture of Darth Vader holding a phone a few months ago, because that's what I do on my show. I hold a phone up and show people the newspaper. And then they had Darth Vader holding up a mobile phone. I don't think I've ever seen, or anyone's ever heard or seen Darth Vader hold up a phone, but he's there, and I'm holding up the phone. And so that's in the newspaper, which is the Daily Star, which is 109, which is 17, which is Nasara plus Nasara. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll take that, you know.
Yeah.
And it happens all the time.
I know there was a bank that just went out here in Iowa. It's the 5th bank this year that's gone under. First one in Iowa since like 2011. So it's been like over 10 years since we've had a bank fail. And
what was it called?
Citizens Bank.
And that was in Iowa particular, or is it like a Midwest?
Sac City. Yeah, it was in Sac City, Iowa. SAC.
So it's just one branch, or a whole bunch of branches?
There's just one bank, just that Sac City branch, I believe.
Okay.
So a lot of people are speculating about what this means. Some people think it's going to be like, you know, consolidation. These bigger banks are going to come by the smaller ones, and we're going to have a situation like what happened with the mainstream media, where there's 50 plus media companies.
2038.
And then, nice. See, all the time.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if that is allowed to happen. Hopefully not. But it just seems like everybody. I read a quote here. I need to read this to you, to your audience here. Let me find it though. I posted it on my Telegram, but it made me, it hit me, and I couldn't stop thinking about it for like 3 days. So I'm gonna read it here quick for you. Okay. Orwell feared those who would deprive us of information. Huxley feared those who would give us so much that we would be reduced to passivity and egoism. Orwell feared that the truth would be concealed from us, and Huxley feared the truth would be drowned in a sea of irrelevance. I mean, this is so me right now with everything that's coming out in the news. It's like there's just so much information that it's impossible to stay up to date with what's happening. So I guess if you guys are feeling this way, I feel that way too. Orwell feared we would become a captive culture, and Huxley feared we would become a trivial culture preoccupied with some equivalent of the feelies, the orgy-porgy, and the centrifugal bumble puppy. That must be from the book.
The orgy-porgy?
The orgy-porgy. Porgy?
Porgy. Orgy-porgy.
I don't know what that is, but
that's
it
what
sounds
she
like
said.
a distraction. Okay.
It does sound like a distraction. That's what she said. Yeah. Orgy-porgy, pudding and pie.
Yes. Okay. As Huxley remarked in Brave New World Revisited, the civil libertarians and rationalists who are ever on the alert to oppose tyranny, quote, failed to take into account man's most infinite appetite for distractions. In 1984, Huxley added, people are controlled by inflicting pain. In Brave New World, they are controlled by inflicting pleasure. In short, Orwell feared that what we hate will ruin us. Huxley feared that what we love will ruin us. Basically, it's so easy to be distracted all the time. We've got sports, we've got all the things in the news that if you watch the news constantly, I mean, I really feel like your mental health is going to be diminished if you watch the mainstream media all the time. I feel like it's meant to be doom and gloom all the time. So after some amount of time, you just got to reach the conclusion, like, I got to take a break. I got to go take a breather, get some water, then come back in the game. But that quote hit me because that is exactly how, at least I see a lot of people feeling this way, and I know I feel this way, where there's so many things happening all at once that it's like it makes you passive, and it makes you just want to, you think you can't change anything, so I'm just gonna bow out for a while. So it's a tough time. It's a tough time right now, but I feel like better times are coming. I really truly feel that way. Don't you feel like something good is going to come of this very soon?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's wishful thinking, but I really feel it.
It is, it's coming. It's like, why would they start something that they're not going to finish? It's like, it was already, Trump said it ages ago, they caught the swamp. So it's like, I always believe him,
Right.
and it's like, okay, so he caught it. So what does that mean? What is the rest of all this stuff?
Right.
I know it's, we've heard it before, but it's playing out. Things have to play out. So everybody has to come on board, as many people as possible that can get on, because we're the ones saying, iceberg, get over here. We've been telling them for 3.5 years, and people are like still wandering around. But if they're good-hearted, if they're pure in heart, and they've a certain level of character as a person, then they deserve to, know the truth. And I think we'll see an exponential growth in the uptake of people realizing what's going on. And then someone said this to me a few months ago, said all wars come to an end, and they do. That comes to an end. Trump has said it's the final battle. He said 2024 is a final battle. He said the pause is 4 years, which takes you straight to the election of 2024. Now, whether we have an election, as we've been, I don't know, but there's a scriptural reference that says,
right,
the calling election made sure is 246, which comes to Diana, the Princess of Wales, 246. It comes to, in the twinkling of an eye, 246. Blink of an eye comes to 143. And if you do 143 November 5th plus Princess 103, it comes to 246, which comes to, in the twinkling of an eye, it comes to Diana, the Princess of Wales, and it comes to calling an election made sure. And I always wondered, what's that about? Election? What's calling an election? So it's a calling. We've all been called to do this, but it's also an election being made sure. It's kind of obvious, And so whether we'll see exactly then or something else, all things do lead to Rome, and they all lead to November 5th. I should do a t-shirt. All roads lead to November 5th. I should do the numbers on that. Someone in the chat can do it. But that's what it is. All roads lead to November 5th. And there's only one date in history we've been told to remember. Remember is 158. 158 is top trumps. Remember is 158. A week to remember is 159. I was there on Sunday filming Big Ben, which is the Houses of Parliament, which is the gunpowder plot, which is the whole thing of November 5th that didn't happen, which they've chosen for this point. And there's a number 159 bus that goes through. It goes right through that route. And then there's an 88 bus that goes around the Parliament Square. It's like everything is telling us continually what's coming. I did a show earlier today on the beach about hyperinflation, because I believe that's one mechanism and a main mechanism that they'll get the RV into existence. So, if the money goes up through the roof, what better way to get real money that's backed, all the hidden money into the system? Hyperinflation is one way. And if you do hyperinflation, here we go. I did this earlier, and I didn't do it in the show, but I worked out after, or remembered it again. No, here we go. Where do we go? Okay, so the hyperinflation RV comes to 245, comes to Thomas Sidney Bushel, comes to currency revaluation, comes to the pure love of Christ. But then, where are we at? Wrote it down here. Hang on, I'll do it this way. Sometimes when you get a big number, it's always good just to minus something.
Well, I just feel better about myself, because when you told me to do math earlier, and I was like, get like math, I'm going to call it math anxiety, because people will say, oh, do this math. And if I could just like sit down and just do it, it would take me like 5 seconds. But then I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, I've said this before, but I'm not a maths genius. Like, I still have to go through the clunks, and I do have an anomaly in my mind of how I add stuff up. So it's probably not the most efficient way, but I use the calc and I can do it. You know, early days I'd be watching films at the cinema, couldn't have a phone in there. Well, I guess you could, but I'd be watching it, and I would, like, when I was watching Tenet, I'd have like 13 or so references, and I'd worked them out in my head, and just so my mind was stronger in terms of. But anyway, it's still the same ability to do this stuff. But another one is hyperinflation 172, revaluation 138. Donald Trump, River Thames. River Thames is right next to the frickin' Houses of Parliament where it all kicks off. And now it's 246. It's 2046, which is in the twinkling of an eye. You see?
See,
But
this is making me want to watch that movie again.
you
V
have to
for
watch
Vendetta.
it. V for Vendetta, yeah. You have to watch it. They tell everyone, it's all there. But if you do hyperinflation 172, if you do hyperinflation revaluation, so the two things, guess what it comes to? It comes to 310. 310 is the 310th day of the year next year, because that's the leap year, and that's the day we've been told to remember, and that's the day of the election. The calling election made sure. It's all there. It's all been. I don't know exactly how it's all gonna, but it's getting more and more obvious. It's like it's then. X marks the spot. X is 24. Why did they change Twitter? Twitter's 115, which is someone else's previous name. 115. It's love you. 115 is also something else, which is a secret number, which I won't reveal probably until after the event. But 115 is 11/5, which is November 5th. And then they changed it. Twitter, 115, it's also intelligence. They changed it to X. X is 24. X marks the spot. You add them together, and what do they come to? It comes to 139.
X marks, wow. X marks the spot, 2024.
Yeah.
2024, X marks the spot. That's where this all not started, but that's where a huge part of it started, was where that X is. It's going to end hopefully in 2024. X.
Which X?
Start with that X, and it's going to end with the X.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Yeah, on frickin' Freddy Krueger Street, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
You know, Krueger 85, Criminal, Storm, Awakening 85. That's where it happened. And then I was watching Highlander last night, which is 86, which is Tommy. And sometimes President Trump will say Tommy Tute, and I think Roseanne's called me Tommy a few times, but 86 is Pyramid, Tommy, Highlander. Highlander in the Highlands of Scotland. I lived up there for 2 years. And I was the King of Scotland for 2 years up there. Trump is 88. Edinburgh is 88. Scotland's 88. 88 plus 88, Trump plus Trump, and together is 176, Back to the Future, November the 5th. X marks the spot. Yeah. X marks the spot. That's what's happening. It's all coming back round. 17 days after November 5th is what?
Here you go with that math, 24.
22, November 22nd. 17 days after November 5th.
What's the 22? What's the 22 then?
Well, November 22 is JFK in 63. X marks the spot. On Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street. But the freaking villain, Krueger, the Kurgan, and then Highlander, chopped his head off. Time's up. All the fuckers out there, time's up. We're coming for you. And everything's going to be reversed, because quantum is atonement 107. And people don't understand this yet. But if you have an inkling of what twinkling in the twinkling of an eye means, that means change. That means all sorrows are wiped away. That means all injustices are wiped away. So the RV is the start of it. The RV is fundamental, but there's so much more than that. People are getting resurrected. There's the morning of the first resurrection is 381. 381 comes to 310 plus 71. 71 is Psych, my channel. 71 is Smart. 71 is Lady Diana. Lady Diana is 71. Plus 310, which is next year on X marks the spot, comes to 381, which comes to morning of the first resurrection. It's not just her. That Westminster Abbey is going to be full of, a whole bunch. There's that nursery rhyme about my cousin Paul. It says, fly away, Peter, fly away, Paul. Come back, Peter, come back, Paul. Paul's coming back. Others are coming back. They're talking about a Jack coming back.
I'm going to call what you just had was a number rant. I'm just going to coin that term right now. You had a number rant. Your number rant just reminded me of Willy Wonka when he was like reading the little words and then he's like, that's it. Good day, sir. And then he just like drops the mic.
Exactly, etc., etc., etc. Good day. Yeah, exactly. Because it's all eternal contracts and they can't beat it now. The house will be bust. Our house lives. House is 68 Mar-a-Lago. Baron, wait, it's like time's up.
In the meantime, Tom, I'm going to focus on the things that I can control, which is my family. I want to learn how to make bread, so I'm going to start making bread. I want to learn how to fly a plane potentially. Maybe I'll learn how to fly a plane. I'm going to try to focus on the things that give me life and not focus on the things that take life out of me or away from me or make me feel dread or sorrow, because I feel like that's what they want. That's what the powers that be, they just want to make you feel hopeless all the time, just sickening. So I just won't subscribe to that.
No, that's what we should do. We should follow our bliss. That's the film The Secret. They talked about following your bliss. That's what we should do. That's why I did that video November 5th at the weekend. And it happened to be that I was up there because I was watching The Matrix. The Matrix is 118, which is the very first number I got, which is Paul's birthday. And I did an all-nighter, and then I was there in London, and I did that video November 5th. Then Phil comes out with that thing he did late last night, and I saw it on the Monday morning, and it was beautiful sunshine, and I was like, yeah. And it feels, it's a countdown now. I feel like this is the victory lap. We're going into, from now on until then, we've only got 363 days left until we hit November 5th. And it cannot be underestimated. And it's biblical. Book of Revelations 185, Donald John Trump. The Silver Reset 185. A non-fungible token 185. Who made up NFTs? It's like everything is pointing to this point, and it's like, I'm going to be amazed when it's here. I can see it. I'm being told. I'm getting these dots from the universe telling me what the heck's coming. I don't know the full picture, but I can see it. I know enough to be able to guide people and give them hope. Because right now people are out there and they're just like, we're tired of it. But it's like, just give them the dots, give them the pips, and it's going to get clearer and clearer and clearer,
Yeah, I know. I do feel like, though, there are days when you wake up and you just feel like something's coming. Something's coming.
It is coming. It is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It is coming. A Black Swan event is coming. 153. Fantastic Four. Fantastic is 93 Bushnell. Fantastic Four, that film that they made ages ago, there's a bit with the huge Millennium Wheel 175, which is the Diana Francis Spencer 175, Consciousness 175, Anakin Skywalker 175, Dark to Light. People say, why have you got Darth Vader or Kabal? It's like, yeah, shut up, just shush. You know exactly what it is. I've already told you. And 175 is the Millennium Wheel. And they show this whole thing with the wheel, and there's like this big gaping hole in the River Thames. It's like, what's underneath there? Was it a dome? Was it a pyramid? What is it? There's something. Something's coming to London, but something's coming globally. All the major places. I think there'll be stuff in London, Paris, parts of Eastern Europe, probably Russia, probably out as far as China, definitely in America, New York, Washington, Mount Rushmore. And dotted all around, there'll be cultural, places, capital cities, but then there'll be places of spiritual significance as well. There'll be stuff I haven't seen yet. It's like there'll be loads of stuff I haven't seen yet, but it's like I can see a few dots, boop, 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 and it's enough to give me hope and excitement to run towards the gunfire, And it's now time to pull the trigger. Like, we have to take action. If we're being confronted with things, if there's things we've been, and I'm talking to myself when I say this, if there's things that have been holding us back, we have to confront them. Confront is 105. Savior is 105. Inception is 105. Arcturian is 105. President Trump is Pleiadian probably, but he's also Arcturian. The Arcturian is 138. Donald Trump. It's like confront 105. We have to confront these things. It's an interdimensional game. We're peering through a glass darkly, to paraphrase and hash that verse. It's like we're seeing things. We don't see it completely, but it's getting brighter with every day. And that's why we've gone through all this, but 2024, this is the time for all of us to be excited and just blast it, put the afterburners on,
Yeah. Well, I just love it when you say shut up with your British accent.
Shut up.
You're like,
and I
shut
said
up.
it politely. I could have used the F-bomb. I used it earlier for something else, but yeah, shut up. Shut up. What does shut up come to?
I don't know, but I need
In
to
my
get
gematria, because English is 78, is 74. So in my gematria accent, 74. Shut up.
There you go.
Carry on, please. Right, sorry, I'm working this one out while you're saying about shut
work
up.
that one out, and then I gotta take off here in like a couple minutes, but I want to hear what shut up is quick.
No way. You knew what it was.
I really didn't. What is it?
Yeah, have you worked it out?
No.
Oh, look at this. If people want to get in, I should nickname this show Synchronicities with Tom Numbers. We should do a sideshow. Synchronicities with Rachel Numbers and Tom Numbers. So shut is 68, which is Mar-a-Lago, which is Market, which is Wayne, Mr. Wayne, Batman. And then up is 37. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to double check because this will blow us away. Hang on. S-H-U-T. Yeah, shut. And then up. 37, 68. What did I just say about Arcturian?
It's 105.
It's 105, and that's the last number I just done. 105. I said Savior. Savior is 105 in the English way of spelling it. Arcturian is 105. Confront. We have to confront the things that we've been holding back, because by confronting the things that we've not been addressing, that's where the magic lies. And I knew that. I've had to do some of that the last couple of weeks, and that's why I felt a shift personally as well. And shut up in my English accent, in my gematria accent, and you said you loved it, is 105. That's the power of the numbers, right? You know it. You're part of the conversion,
That's what's fun about it. You just like pull a random phrase out, like shut up.
Yeah.
And then that's what happens.
Exactly. 105. Well, thank you. It's been fun to catch up. We'll do these a bit more frequent, yeah, because this is the victory lap. I'm telling you, this is the victory lap. This is the last hurrah. And we've got less than a year. I can't fucking wait. We've got less than a year. Thank goodness. And it's just the beginning.
So after this show, you're going to go to the store and you're going to buy some construction paper, and you're going to make a paper chain countdown to Election Day 2024. And each day you can just take your scissors and cut one off.
What's this? The construction store? What is it?
You guys not do construction paper countdowns over there? You take little loops and you tape it together, and then you take another little chain. It's a paper chain.
Okay. Yeah, do that. Because I said, I should create an advent calendar, and it's like, I don't know how to do that, but maybe I can, but it'd be a big one. It's like, yeah, okay, we'll do the construction. Just tick it off, tally, whatever it is. Daisy chain of construction. There'll be some numbers on, what's it called? Construction?
A paper chain.
A paper chain, but what was the other phrase? What was the other description?
Construction paper.
Construction paper. Send me the numbers on construction paper. There'll be something. It will be what we've done on the show. I'm sure it will be. What does it come to? Construction.
I'll look it quick, and then I gotta head out. Hold on.
Construction and then paper. I'll do
171
paper.
is construction.
Which is the revaluation. Which is the River Thames. 171. And it's someone else's name, and they're going to have to change and repent. But there's still a safe haven here. What's that? Sorry.
Hold on. Construction. Okay. 227 is construction paper.
227.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the New Yorker hotel, and it's also September the 11th, 227. And September 11th is intrinsically connected to November 5th because the 5th of the 11th, well, 5th of the 11th is 194, which is September 11th, which is someone important's name. But 194 is also the November reset, and that's November 5th. So, you know, so paper 171, take away 227. So paper's 56. Ah, light. Ah, very good. Healing. Ah, that's interesting. 171 healing. Yeah, they're gonna have to go through that like everyone else. So thanks, Rach.
Yep.
God bless
See
you.
you next time.
Keep up the work.
I
Links
will.
are below. If you wondered what my Mr. T medallion was, that's my Shungite and Orgonite. My sleeping pod. This, I sleep like a baby with this. My garden packs. Good for animals. You can have your phone shields. Links are below. Join all locals. Go and see George. And iodine and magnesium links are there as well, and spooky 2 stuff if you want to get Rife technology. Hey, why not? You've only got less than a year. Might as well get happy and healthy, you know.
That's right.
Cool. All right, Rach. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Take care.
Bye.
God bless. See you. Bye. Bye.